Hello, Mercy House. It's Monday of Holy Week, and this is the first of several videos that we're going to roll out each day of Holy Week, which is the last week of Jesus' life leading up to his crucifixion. And we're going to post these each day, so you'll be waiting, hopefully, for their release. And then as they come out, it'll be an opportunity for you to both look at your own Bibles, at the text that we're talking about, and then also hear our staff give a reflection on these texts. This is part of a larger Holy Week schedule, and so we will also be doing 4 streaming events that will include a Wednesday night event that's being put on by MERCYhouse University. You also have a Good Friday service, a sunrise service at 6:30 a.m., and then our usual 10 a.m. service on Sunday morning. The Holy Week events that we're going to be talking about are the ones recorded in the Gospel of Luke, chapters 19 through 23. And again, I would encourage you to read those, to get your own Bible and to read through 19 through 23, and to also be reading along as we look at these scriptures. The Holy Week account begins with Palm Sunday, and we see the people of Jerusalem putting out their coats on the ground and waving palm branches and singing and praising and welcoming Jesus as their king. They're saying things like this from Luke 19:38. Blessed is the King who comes in the name of the Lord, peace in heaven and glory in the highest. It seems like things are going well. People are praising Jesus. They're welcoming him as their king. They seem to be enthroning him in the holy city of Jerusalem. But then the next section reads like this. This is Luke 19, starting with verse 41. And when he drew near and saw the city, he wept over it, saying, would that you, even you, had known on this day the things that make for peace. But now they are hidden from your eyes. For the days will come upon you when your enemies will set up a barricade around you and surround you and hem you in on every side, and tear you down to the ground, you and your children within you. And they will not leave one stone upon another in you, because you did not know the time of your visitation. I don't think the contrast could be more stark. From celebrating and shouting in the streets, welcoming King Jesus into Jerusalem, to Jesus weeping over Jerusalem. Why is he weeping? 2 things in the text. 1, blindness, and 2, judgment. So, number 1, blindness. They think they know the kind of king and kingdom that they need, but they're blind to it. They're hoping for a kingdom that will kick the Romans out, and it will establish a robust economy, and it will give them all the safety and security that they crave. They're not that much different than us. We too crave safety and security, and that's not all bad, unless it's the ultimate thing that we are craving. This isn't the peace that we most need. It's obvious this is what they're missing. Again, Jesus says, would that you had known on this day the things that make for peace. There's a peace that they need that's more than safety and security. And that peace that they need is peace with God. Now, one of the reasons that peace with God is so important is because the opposite of peace with God is judgment. He describes the destruction of Jerusalem, which is a powerful picture of divine judgment. And Jesus is predicting that the holy city, the city that is the center for the government, because the king's palace is there, and the center for religion, because the temple is there, also a city that was understood to be impenetrable. It is the city on the hill. Jesus is predicting that it's going to be sieged and it's going to be ransacked. He says you're going to be surrounded, you're going to be barricaded, you're going to be torn down, you and your children. That means they're not just going to surround the city, they're actually going to invade the city. But not only that, he describes a total annihilation, that not one stone will be left on top of another. that indeed does happen. In 70 AD, the Romans will come in and they will indeed do this very thing that Jesus predicts not 40 years before it happens. And the reason for the judgment? Is it that they weren't moral enough or religious enough or loving enough? No. The reason is right there in Luke 19:44. He says that they will not leave one stone upon another in you, that's the judgment, because you did not know the time of your visitation. The reason for the judgment is their rejection of Jesus. They don't understand the visitation of Jesus as he comes in on that colt of a donkey on Palm Sunday. King Jesus has come to Jerusalem to save them from their sins and consequently give them peace with God. They instead will only accept Jesus as their king if he will give them the shopping list of selfish desires that they want. The result of rejecting the king and his kingdom is judgment. And so Jesus weeps. And that's good news. It is good news that he is weeping. On one hand, yes, he's weeping because he knows of this impending judgment. On the other hand, he's weeping because he has compassion on the people of Jerusalem. And so we pray that in this Holy Week, you won't miss the significance of Jesus' visitation. That as you read in chapters 19 through 23, as you hear these videos that are coming out each day, that you would receive the King and his kingdom, the true King and his kingdom, the one who has come to die for our sins and give us peace with God. Thank you.